Welcome to the kidsministry.blog podcast. Every episode, we share ideas, tips, and resources to help your children's ministry thrive.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit. Think about how often you see kids, or let's be honest, adults too, sort of locked in that battle to be first. You know, like those kids, Tyler and Mason in the example, wrestling over a shepherd's staff, both yelling, "I was first. No, I was first." Yeah. It's such a familiar scene, isn't it? That drive to just win.
It really is. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah. Do we actually teach cooperation? Potentially guide kids to work together?
Or do we just kind of hope they stumble upon it?
Exactly. Just hope they figure it out eventually.
Well, that's a really key question. And it's something the Kids Ministry blog article, Games That Teach Cooperation, digs into quite nicely. The core idea there, which I think is fascinating, is that, well, real success, lasting success, often comes from collaboration, not just one person winning.
Right.
So this deep dive, we're going to explore some really practical and honestly surprisingly effective ways to actually cultivate that skill.
Okay, good. Because it feels like so many of our default activities, they emphasize winning, competition. So what happens? What shifts when you deliberately remove that competitive element?
That's where things get interesting. Take a game like the human knot. It's a brilliant example.
Okay, human knot. How does that work?
Right. So you get a group of kids, maybe 6 or 8, standing in a circle. They reach across, grab hands with 2 different people, not the person next to them. And instantly you've got this tangled mess, a human knot.
Sounds chaotic.
It is. But the goal is to untangle yourselves without letting go of hands. And what happens immediately is you can't do it alone. It's impossible.
Okay, so it forces interdependence.
Exactly. Yep. Forces it. You have to talk. Kids who were maybe arguing before, like Tyler and Mason, suddenly they're figuring it out. Okay, you duck under here. Wait, let me try stepping over. The focus isn't who untangles fastest. It's can we as a group untangle? Sometimes it falls apart. You laugh, you start again. But it's always about the shared goal.
I like that. Okay, What else? You mentioned another one. Tower building.
Yes, tower building with one hand. Super simple setup, really profound results.
Just one hand.
Just one hand per person. Give the team some basic supplies, blocks, cups, cardboard, tape, whatever. Task them with building the tallest possible tower, but with only one hand each. Well, individual effort just won't cut it. You physically can't hold a block and steady the tower and add another piece all by yourself.
Right, so you're immediately forced to ask for help. Can you hold this steady? What if we put this piece here?
Precisely. It forces communication, listening, compromise. Even kids who tend to dominate, the Tylers and Masons, they have to rely on others. They need someone else's hand. It becomes a very visible demonstration of how different ideas, different hands, literally supporting each other, make the whole thing stronger.
That's a great visual. And you mentioned group juggling too. That sounds ambitious.
It starts simple. One soft ball, tossed around the circle in a pattern, easy enough. Then you add a second ball, then a third, maybe a fourth, going in the same pattern.
Wow. Okay, yeah, that would get complicated fast.
It does. It turns into this beautiful chaos. But what it teaches is different. It's not just about your catch anymore. You have to be aware of the whole system. Where are the other balls? Who needs help?
So paying attention to others becomes key.
Absolutely. And the source mentions something really telling. When someone inevitably drops a ball, the instinct isn't annoyance, it's encouragement. It's okay. Try again. You build this collective resilience.
That's a big shift.
Huge. And they even gave an example of a shy kid, Emma, who found her role retrieving the dropped balls. She felt important, part of the success, even without being the best catcher. It includes different styles of participation.
So looking at these games, human knot, tower building, group juggling, what's this like the secret sauce? What makes them work so well?
Well, it seems to boil down to a few things, doesn't it? First, you remove the traditional winners and losers. That lowers the stakes for mistakes.
Right. Mistakes become learning moments, not failures.
Exactly. And second, individual skills have to contribute to the group's success. You can't hoard your talent. You have to share it.
And third, there's space for everyone, even quieter kids, to play a meaningful role. It fosters that sense of shared purpose.
Yeah, those seem to be the key ingredients. And the impact they observed was pretty compelling.
How so? Does it stick?
Apparently, yes. Kids like Tyler and Mason, sure, they still competed sometimes. That doesn't vanish entirely. But they also started spontaneously helping each other on other things, like projects.
Interesting. So it bled over into other areas.
It seems so. Group work in general got better. The quiet kids started contributing more ideas. Parents even noticed it at home, kids celebrating when a friend did well, not just themselves.
Wow, that's significant. It's changing how they see success itself.
Definitely. Which leads us to the bigger picture, right?
Yeah, why does this matter so much beyond just, games?
Because life isn't just individual competition. Think about school projects, workplaces, families, relationships. They all demand collaboration. These games are essentially practice for real life.
You're learning the skills you actually need.
Exactly. Invaluable skills. How to really listen, how to compromise effectively, how to build on someone else's idea instead of just pushing your own, how to value the relationship, the process, maybe even more than just being right or winning this one time.
It's a fundamental toolkit for getting along and getting things done together.
Absolutely.
So here's something for you, the listener, to think about. We know friendly competition has its place. It can be motivating. But maybe the ultimate goal isn't just competition or cooperation, but finding that balance. Equipping ourselves and the next generation to know how and when to work effectively with others. What could we achieve? What could we build together if we consciously put a bit more focus on those shared victories, instead of only ever celebrating the individual ones? Something to consider.
Thanks for listening. To find more ideas, tips, and resources, go to kidsministry.blog. We'll see you next time.